TV. Same thing, close in the door, main event. World too heavy, slacking this rim, letting it bleed, making me cry. Up in the stars, on the fly. Join on my team, drown out that pain. Streets full of hunger, chains feel like chain. Flexing the PJ, dodging the rain. Came from the struggle, switching the lane. Popo following my dogs in a cage. Tat on my skin, seeing my rage. My mind spinning, demons calling my name. Turn off the TV, it's hurting my brain. Scroll through the gram, they watching the shine. Fake love, they standing in line. Red, blue divided, they hating our own. Cutting like knives, I'm in my zone. Still stacking high, inflation is raw. Grinding these shits, can't open the door. Young and catch strays as they play at the park. The world is a powder keg, needs a spark. The system is locked, but they keeping us low. Send us to prison, we never gon' know. The world is choking, they drill for a bag. Ice caps melting, now look at they swag. Fight for our rights and still catching some strays. Equal to pay, we still getting played. Love getting hated, rainbow under attack. Lost trying to cage us, we push it right back. Then let it drip, let it pour to the floor. World's on fire, can't take it no more. Then let it drip, let it pour to the floor. World's on fire, can't take it no more. Then let it slide, let the truth hit the light. Chains on my soul, but my heart's on fire. Then let it slide, let the truth hit the light. Chains on my soul, but my heart's on fire. Back to the schemes, pocket with bread. Sell out the youth, the lies spread. War on my screen, love for the views. Kids see smoke, they don't know what to do. Don't take any souls every night. Mamas is crying, hold them tight. Hustle through dark, finding some peace. Wait is coming, catch and release. Fake news is spinning, the truth in the choke. Lies on the feed, the people in smoke. Losing their faith, no heroes, no trust. Dreams are the ashes, grinding the dust. Rent is sky high and they sleeping, they whip. Eviction notice, they losing their grids. The school's underfunded, the kids can't play. Texas outdated, they test anyway. Then let it drip, let it pour to the floor. World's on fire, can't take it no more. Then let it drip, let it pour to the floor. World's on fire, can't take it no more. Then let it slide, let the truth hit the light. Chains on my soul, but my heart's in the fire. Then let it slide, let the truth hit the light. Chains on my soul, but my heart's in the fire. And there you have it. You see it like I see it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show started. We don't got all morning. Happy Friday.
Like the Terminator screaming, I'll be back. It's deja vu when I'm out here flying first class. It's like every week I gotta take out the trash. I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. You can tell that I made it, look at my grass. Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas. I play the game so well, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room screaming how we made it. This is how I'm supposed to happen when you get you famous. The algorithm turned me to a maniac. Cause my zodiac, I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet. Benjamin Franklin is my bestie. And if they use my ex, that mean they left me. They don't give me cards if they test me. I say it with my chest cause I mean it. Got a lot of confidence.
This is our favorite part. This is our favorite part. Listen up. This is our favorite part, please.
I'ma take off in a spaceship.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in like a day. Shit was radical. It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the
You haven't
rails.
seen anything.
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
You heard about what they did to
It's
Don
like
Lemon?
deja vu. It's like deja vu.
Welcome to the show. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are gathered here. We're in the Thunderdome. It's Friday, January 30th, and once again, we're gathered here to do the real work that it takes to save this country from the evil clutches of Donald J. Trump and his legion of MAGA demons, who we all understand are hell-bent on destroying this once great country of ours. I mean, it never was great, but we got a long way to go after what I just heard today. You heard about what they did to Don Lemon? Oh my gosh, I'm so angry about that. I'm very upset. But before I get into that, where are my manners? Let's take care of some very important housekeeping items. For those of you tuning in, this may be your first time listening to somebody like me. I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the first H is because I am alter ego. today's not the day, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. So let me just get this out of the way. The first H is because I am honest. All right, I'm the most honest person on social media. There's nobody more honest than me. All right. The second H is because I am humble. There's nobody more humble than me. And then the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, which is arguably one of the most important H's of them all, it is because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. And that'll get you in a lot of trouble on this show, all right? Because that's the one thing you can do. If you start going after that H, you're in deep, actually any of the H's, you're in deep, deep trouble, all right? Now, many of you are very familiar with what I've been doing on this side of TikTok, on this side of town, so to speak. I've done an outstanding job of holding MAGA accountable for their dirty, disgusting, filthy deeds, as well as their lies and things like that, right? And their crimes. And it's gotten to a point now where I've came to the conclusion, and, you know, TikTok... we got a love-hate relationship, me and TikTok. Because if I really start cooking and booking MAGA, you know what they'll do? They'll start reporting me. And so I'm trying to find the balance where I can still get you all the truth out there. Because all I do is give out the truth. And it's the truth that I deliver, it's cooked up so nicely, so perfectly, that it really does an outstanding job of just offending everybody that supports Donald Trump. So that's a huge W, Zeus. There's not one person on TikTok that has spoken to me if they're MAGA, and they'll never come back and be like, oh, you know what? Zeus actually woke my game up. He's a great person. Every single one of them, after one encounter with me, they always end up coming back going, oh, Zeus, you hurt my feelings. Zeus, please, don't you want to see it this way? And I got so many of them that reach out to me. Zeus, please lighten up, lighten up. And I say, I'm one of the nicest people that's on social media. I mean, it's almost like they know that I am right, but it hurts them to admit it. And that's okay, because I'll make sure by the end of the day, they know where they stand. And basically, they all understand you have one conversation with me. First 2 seconds that they start talking, I already know where they're going. You're going straight to hell, right? W, Zeus. On this show, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give the game away. MAGA goes to hell on my show, all right? So, listen up. If you're a Trump supporter and you don't want a first-class trip to hell, right? Because I will send you there. I try not to. I try to be reasonable. But I have no problem doing it. Or if you like being lied to, right? You know, there's fake TikTok hosts out there. You can go to them. I can give you the names of them. For instance, Snuggles. He's a good liar on TikTok. You can go hang out with him, all right? Great liar. You know what he'll do? You know what he'll do? He'll literally repeat every single thing Donald Trump posts on that platform he got. He calls it Truth Social. I call it Lie Central. Snuggles will read everything Donald Trump says. And then he does something incredible. He actually programs his AI tool. I don't even know you can do this. He's programming his AI tools to basically accept everything Donald Trump says as truth. And he ends up arguing with himself all day. But you know what? It's great content. It's funny to me to watch. But you know what? You go hang out with him because he'll lie to you and take your money. And then he'll say, now come on back. There's more where that came from. All right. But over here, we won't do that. We'll make sure you'll end up going back and you go, I'm not so hungry anymore after listening to Big Zeus. I'm not so hungry anymore after listening to all of this amazing panelists. And that's the way it should be now that I think about it. And so listen up, Mag. If you don't want that to happen to you, leave right now because it's going to get very uncomfortable, especially after what you did to Don Lemon. Especially after what you did to Don Lemon. It's going to get very uncomfortable in here. All right, but get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
And like that, the doors to the Thunderdome, they've officially closed. And I don't take any responsibility for anyone's feelings that get hurt while I'm talking. Because I'm not the one running the country, right? I'm just somebody on TikTok. And by the way, and you all do an outstanding job. How do you all know how to get in contact with TikTok and report Big Zeus? It's probably the most impressive thing I've seen MAGA do. It's amazing how I could get those brain cells together to accomplish something like that. It really is. But let's get on to more pressing issues. I'll tell you what really got me upset today. You know, we're supposed to be doing all these protests today, because people were going to protest today. And I said, you know what, maybe I should take today off. And then this happened to me, ladies and gentlemen. And it happened to all of us, really.
Fox News alert. Journalist Don Lemon has been arrested in connection with an anti-ICE protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Bill Malusia joins us now with more on this breaking news. Hey, Bill.
Yeah, Charlie, good morning to you. Our colleague David Spunt and I getting this breaking news from multiple law enforcement sources just minutes ago, confirming that former CNN anchor Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles just after midnight this morning at a hotel. This obviously all in connection with that storming of a church in St. Paul, Minnesota by that group of anti-ICE agitators. Now remember, the feds had gone to judges to try to get Don Lemon arrested before. They went to a magistrate judge in Minnesota who didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to a judge above him.
Did they get anybody? Wait a minute. The Trump administration did this? Yeah. This is the same administration that put the 1,600 people who assaulted law enforcement on January 6th. The same guy that pardoned all them? Yeah, they went after Don Lemon. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Did he release those Epstein files? No, he hasn't released those Epstein files. Okay, let me...
He didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to an appeals court. They also decided not to sign off for an arrest warrant for him. So there was experts who were predicting that perhaps the feds would go to a grand jury. It remains to be seen if that's what happened here, but we can confirm that
So they arrested another brother? They arrested another black man, so to speak? And then they didn't release the Epstein files, and they put all those violent offenders that beat up cops back into the streets. Some of them actually reoffended? Yeah. All right, I'll take it over here. All right. Hard head makes for a soft behind, ladies and gentlemen. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's clearly racism. Trump is doing an amazing job. Hold on, Leona, if you don't mind, come up here if you don't mind. I was actually in the middle of my little announcement, Leona, but you wanted to pollute my comment section with that lie? So you didn't want to come up here, Leona? All right, fair enough, Leona. Guess what you just got, Leona? All right, I went ahead and muted you. Only way out is to send me a guest request. Other than that, your voice doesn't matter on my show. It doesn't, because you're probably one of Snuggles' friends, Snuggles, whatever. You go over there and let him lie to you, but I won't allow that on my show. And guess what? That's a huge W, Zeus. Huge W, Zeus. And let that be a lesson. I'm not in the mood. I don't like waking up and I say, wow, so we're unaliving, white women in Minnesota. We're unaliving white guys in Minnesota. And now we're just arresting brothers at the Grammys. I mean, MAGA has no shame. You all have no shame. You ought to be embarrassed at yourself. And then you want to get on social media and pretend like you are all somehow the victims. You're not the victims. You are the harassers. You are the abusers. You're truly, truly the scum of the earth. And I'm saying that because I gotta be not. There's way more nastier things that I could say. How could you do this to Don Lemon? What did he do? Besides, hold the camera up, hold the microphone up, and the doors open, and we saw all of these. If you ask me, because, I grew up in a red state, right? I know what white supremacy looks like. I know what racism looks like. Some of my, because you didn't know it when you were younger, it was racism. But then you learn it when you get older, it was racism. When I saw Don Lemon in that church, they looked very uncomfortable that a black man was in the church asking them questions. They didn't look like they were reading their Bibles. Because, I was like, any of these folks got a Bible in their hand? None of them had Bibles in their hands. None of the pastor, when Don talked, couldn't even give a scripture. Just, oh my gosh, how could you put me on the spot like this? Ooh, if this was 100 years ago, we would definitely do something to you, Don Lemon. You're making me angry up here like this. That's what I saw. We need to go run to the cops. Who goes to the cops? Because somebody went inside of your so-called church. Only a devil would do this. This is evil work, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I say we are on a decline. God is not happy with the United States of America. He's not. He's not. And this is why a lot of y'all going straight to hell. So what I want to do is go ahead and make my statement about this. All right. This is my statement. All right. Today in the kingdom, I speak for the kingdom. We are condemning the Trump administration's arrest. This is January 30th today, by the way, of an esteemed journalist, Don Lemon, on January 29th, 2026. in Los Angeles, California, a Democrat state. They didn't need to come into a Democrat state. This action carried out by federal authorities while Mr. Lemon was covering the Grammy Awards constitutes a blatant violation of First Amendment protections and a clear weaponization of federal power to intimidate and silence independent journalism. Yeah, you did it because he's a black man. Huh. And he's part of the LGBTQ plus community. Hatred. I see hate written all over you, MAGA. I see hatred written all over you. Mr. Lemon's arrest arises from his journalistic documentation of an anti-immigration and customs enforcement protest at City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota on January 18, 2026. Federal prosecutors have leveled charges under 18 U.S.C. 241-248. Who the heck knows what that is? Nobody knows what that is when they're going in with their camera. He's just sitting there doing his job. Claiming conspiracy to interfere with congregants' civil rights. So you want me to believe Don Lemon was working somehow with Antifa, perhaps, because they say there's, and they went to some sort of bunker, some sort of command center, and they engineered this whole operation. MAGA I'm telling you, I get so angry. Yet, a federal magistrate judge rejected these charges on January 22nd, 2026, finding insufficient evidence and recognizing Mr. Lemon's actions as protected journalistic activity. A federal appeals court later denied prosecutors' request for additional warrants, highlighting the absence of probable cause and suggesting this arrest is driven by political retaliation rather than legitimate law enforcement. So it's not even based on reality. It's based on Donald Trump and his dirty diaper. This administration's selective enforcement extends further to its ongoing refusal. Wait a minute. Okay. There, I forgot. I almost got time. I went ahead of myself. This prosecution is baseless and reeks of hypocrisy, stated Dr. Elena Ramirez, executive director of the Civil Liberties Coalition. The Trump administration aggressively pursues a journalist for simply recording a peaceful protest, while it has failed to hold federal agents accountable for the tragic unalivings of protesters, Renee Good, Alex Preddy, Keith Porter, and others, during recent immigration enforcement operations. These unalivings remain unaddressed, exposing a glaring, very glaring, double standard in the application of justice. The administration's selective enforcement extends further to its ongoing refusal to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, a bipartisan law signed by Donald Trump that mandates that the Department of Justice release all relevant Epstein investigative files by December 19th, 2025. More than a month past this deadline, the DOJ has not released any of this information. They've only released under 1% of the over 2 million documents under review, offering vague promises of action, quote, in the near term, end quote, without a firm timeline. This delay denies transparency to victims, the public, and accountability for powerful figures potentially implicated. Yet, the same Justice Department moved very swiftly to arrest a journalist exercising press freedoms. The hypocrisy is compounded by, once again, Donald Trump pardoning over 1,600 individuals who were involved in the January 6, 2021 attack. You know, when Biden won, you remember Biden? Yeah. And they beat up those cops at the Capitol? Yeah. And then he absolved their acts of violence and disruption when politically convenient, while now targeting a reporter for documenting dissent. Such inconsistent standards undermines the rule of law. It erodes trust in institutions and threatens the foundation of a free press. We condemn and demand that the Department of Justice immediately drop all charges. Say that again. Drop all charges against Don Lemon, Mr. Don Lemon, and expedite the full release of those Epstein files in compliance with federal law and launch independent investigations into the deaths, the unalivings of those protesters. We also are urging Congress and the American people to continue to hold this administration accountable and safeguard the constitutional rights of all Americans, ladies and gentlemen. We can't have a country. We cannot have a country if we allow Donald Trump and his administration to just randomly start targeting his people, because guess what? They're criticizing and they're hurting his feelings, right? And so, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I must kick the show off the way I normally do. Join me in warming up the lake of fire. This is for all of you who believe it's a celebration time because Don Lemon has been prosecuted by a corrupt DOJ. I would say, may God have mercy on your soul, but I don't want to. Just do us a favor and go straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
And that's a WZ. Now, is there anybody else out there that still thinks it's okay for Donald Trump to do what he did to Don Lemon? If so, let me know. Let me know, because I stand on this. I stand on this. The same thing that makes you laugh, I promise you, it'll make you cry. I look forward. Like I said, you're lucky I'm not the next president, all right? Miss Renee, thank you, thank you. Yeah, he has weaponized the justice system. He didn't do it to himself, Rick. All right, there you go. He didn't do it to himself. He didn't do it. I look forward to, and this is a dream I had yesterday. I mean, I dreamed Gavin Newsom won, 2028. And I dreamed that I was actually working in his cabinet. And then, what I went into Gavin Newsom's office, and I said, these are the people who were on TikTok, Gavin. And I gave him Tiny Tank Top Tim. I gave him DJ. I gave him Snuggles. I gave him every content creator I've encountered on the right. And then guess what he did? He gave that to his DOJ. And then guess what? We just started watching a bunch of them get indicted and arrested. And guess what? We were all laughing and eating. We were ruining their Christmases. We were ruining their birthdays. We had them separated from their families. I mean, we really had and every time they started crying and complaining, right? Oh, thank you, Dame. You know that, Dame? Yeah. Some of them was like, please, can I call my mama and let her tell? No. We're gonna treat you like you wanted to treat us. And they were all saying, oh, we get it now. Please don't do it to us, Gavin. Please don't. And Gavin said, nope, we're going to do it. So let me make that clear. If you do not want Gavin Newsom to do that to you, MAGA, then I would think twice about sitting around on the internet cheering on what Donald Trump is doing to Don Lemon. All right? Because I've always maintained it. I could get into trouble. But does anyone really feel safer under this current administration? Who feels safer under Donald Trump? Go ahead and identify yourselves. I just want to double check because, see, I got evidence that you're not safer. I got a lot of evidence to know. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, everybody knows you don't feel safe under Donald Trump. All right, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. I only got a little bit of time today to talk about it. All right, but ladies and gentlemen, there's a couple things that I wanted to go ahead and address. How many of you heard about this? I got to do this. This is Lake of Fire worthy. Melania had a little bit of a problem yesterday. Okay, raise your hand if you were able to go see Melania's little thing. I won't even dignify it by calling it a movie. Raise your hand if you were able to go in there. Okay. Maybe they don't remember this. I heard he had a problem filling up the stadium or filling up whatever that was, whatever he was doing. Anyone went there? Who could come up here and tell us all what it was all about, ladies and gentlemen? All right. I mean, you got Donald Trump. What did he say? The red carpet. He said the red carpet last night at Melania's documentary premieres. This is like the good old days when the Academy Awards used to get ratings. All right, listen to this.
This is Hollywood with more people. This is like the old days when the Academy Award used to get ratings.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, Melania didn't get the sellout crowd that she wanted. She got the exact opposite. Everyone in there is a lowlife. Everyone in there is a loser. Everyone. They were there because, there's a joke that we used to say, used to do the Dirty Dozens. You used to say, your mom is so ugly that you had to tie a pork chop around your neck to make the dog play with you. You remember those kind of jokes? This is what we literally are seeing right here, ladies and gentlemen. The man is the so-called president of the United States of America, and he clearly has no friends. He has no friends. None. He couldn't even get any of these people that I interact with on TikTok to show up there. I heard at one point, ladies and gentlemen, they were paying people to try to go there. They went on to, is this thing still a thing? Craigslist? I wish I had the graphic. I heard they were going on to Craigslist once again, offering $50 to get people to show up. And that still wasn't enough money. MAGA, do you feel like you're winning yet, MAGA? Because I don't get it. I don't get it. And I'm still waiting for somebody to come up here and give me the 3 things that make Donald Trump a decent person. I can't get any answers out of MAGA. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the Lake of Fire once again. I don't even need MAGA to say a word to me. I don't. Because nothing you say makes sense. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And this means is MAGA is going straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right, W. Zeus. I see some people out there still getting triggered by the way that I'm running my broadcast. Let me go ahead and give you another friendly reminder.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Yeah, tell them, Tara. Tell them. Yeah, they. You know why MAGA doesn't like me? You know why they don't like me? Because to a certain degree, I'm like them. In a way, to a certain degree, I'm like them. They know that I could get down like them if I needed to, but I don't. I actually show them what being a better person is, and they can't stand it. They can't stand it. How does he do it? Is he real? Is this fake? Is it real? They can't figure it out. And I keep telling the Trump supporters, I used to be just as bad as you, but I elevated and became a better person. And look at this. And I haven't done it in a while, but look. You see the difference? You see that right there, ladies and gentlemen? Look at that. No strings attached. I am not a hand puppet, unlike you. Yeah, because when you know better, you do better. It's that simple. But a lot of you know better and you can't do better because something's wrong up here. You're totally conflicted. You're totally compromised, and you can't come out of it. You're really in a cult. I can tell a Trump supporter that they're in a cult, and you know what they'll do? They'll just sit there and take it. They'll go, oh, Zeus, there you go again, spreading that. They call it propaganda. No, I got iron. Actually, it's not just me. All of us have ironclad evidence that you're all in a cult. Because you can't explain why you love this man. You can't explain it. He says things, transgender for all. What the heck is that? Transgender. And y'all go around crying about this stuff. And I ask you, okay, so you live your day 24 hours. How many times do you interact with people of that, that are in those communities? None. Then why are you so worked up about it? You're willing to throw away everything you got over something that doesn't even bother you. It doesn't even come on your radar. But you're willing to give up all of your constitutional freedoms and liberties. I mean, that's why I say you're in a cult, because a person with a mind, a thinking mind, a free mind, they would say, I'm not falling for that. Because you've been through that before, but they don't believe me until it ends up happening to them. And I've ran into so many Trump voters who are now regretting their vote, especially small business owners. You know how Donald Trump runs around and he says, we were the hottest country. We were a dead country a year ago, and now we're the hottest country. You remember how he says that all the time? There's a lot of people that are MAGA Trump voters. They don't even admit it anymore, but their businesses are suffering. Their businesses are in pain. They say, I can't afford the tariffs. Yeah, because they didn't realize the products that they've been getting, to a certain degree, Joe Biden kept them in business. They don't want to admit that. They do not want to admit Joe Biden saved them. I'll give you an example. Any Trump voters out there? Anybody out there supporting Donald Trump? Go ahead and identify yourselves in the comment section. Look at him. Okay, Viper. PG, deport Don Lemon? Oh, wow. You want to deport him? Come on up here, PG. I guarantee you PG won't do it. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to help PG out. I'm going to help PG out because I get, it really does, mods, if you don't mind, put PG in a straitjacket. You can't get away with talking about a brother like Don Lemon on my show today. Absolutely not. It's the wrong day. Normally I let it slide, but if listen, mods, anyone talking about Don Lemon, please go ahead, put him in a straitjacket. And I don't care, because I'm not going to let it happen today. We're not going to sit back and think it's acceptable for a brother to be locked up by the Donald Trump administration for doing what? While you're sitting there openly allowing the 1,600 people that assaulted law enforcement, 140 cops on January 6th, and he pardons them? But you're going to lock a brother up? Oh, please give me a break. Please give me a break. And especially, don't get me on those Epstein files. I'm so angry today. All right, let's go on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about. So, we all know what's happening in Georgia, Fulton County area. Donald Trump still can't believe Joe Biden beat him. And so let's talk about how the FBI has been raiding election offices. All right. And so who is this right here? Who is this? People send me all kinds of things. Ruwa Rahman. Make sure you go check her out. Listen to what she has to say.
Y'all have now heard the Trump administration has raided a Fulton County election office. They have taken over 700 boxes of ballots, of tapes, of our data in order to literally feed into the delusions of an old man who cannot believe that our state has rejected him at all. It is an egregious overreach of power. The reality is that these votes have been counted and recounted and recounted again. There have been several audits. Not only that, but these results actually held where Senator Ossoff was elected not just once, but also again in a runoff election. This is nothing more than a pretense to get our voter data, because they cannot currently do it under Georgia law that bans the federal government from accessing our voter data.
Wow.
A lot of people have been saying that midterm elections are going to be canceled. I cannot stress enough how important it is to reject that kind of framing. Now is the time to insist on our rights, including our right to vote. Now is the time to push back on an administration that thinks it can do whatever it wants.
I'm going to stop. Okay, so I'm going to say this, two sides. One, I need everybody out there to understand we're way past playing games. They are clearly trying to rig the midterms. All right, we could get back into 2024 because a lot of us feel a certain type of way about what happened with Vice President Kamala Harris. The numbers just didn't make sense. Kamala was selling out arenas. Donald Trump was paying people to go to his rallies, and all of a sudden he won. Give me a break. Somebody should definitely go look into it, and I think I did a video about that. They've looked into it, and they've found irregularities, serious ones, so make it make sense. So now he's sending a letter to Minnesota. Hey, we'll take out these people, ICE, if you give us access to your voter data. He's doing that stuff out here in California. He's doing it in Georgia. This is the sign of a person who knows he's clearly done. He knows he's cooked. Did you see his poll numbers lately? Has anyone looked at Donald Trump's poll numbers lately? Even Republicans are turning on him. He's losing support. Why? Because he's incompetent. His entire administration is incompetent. Welcome to the world we all live in. And like I gave you it yesterday, who is the smartest person in the Trump administration? Oh my gosh, I can't even believe I said that. No, seriously. Who's the smartest person in the Trump administration? And don't you dare say Donald Trump. Don't you dare say Donald Trump, because he's not even there. Don't you dare. He can't even stay awake. He commits crime every time he starts doing something that was not him. Who is the smartest person? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. You can't get no answers from these Trump voters, but they hate Big Zeus. And you know why they hate me? Because I ask the real questions, and I don't let them get away with it. It was rigged, right? Ladies and gentlemen, once again, do not let Donald Trump rig this election. All right, don't let them do it. They got to cheat in order to win. That's why they want to get access to the voter data, all right? And it makes absolutely no sense, all right? He lost in 2020, case closed. And to try to relitigate it seriously means there's something wrong with you up here. If you really believe that Donald Trump won the 2020 election, I don't really need to talk to you. Why? Because there's only one thing you got to do. What's that? Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these folks that still worship Donald Trump and his lies. Join me in sending them straight to hell. You can turn the fire down a little bit. Turn the fire down. I get it. Wow.
Silence!
Yeah.
You matter.
Zeus. Hey, Kimmy. I'm so glad that you're here, Kimmy. W, Rick, all right? Because Kimmy and Vegas, whatever her name is, I can say her name now because it's been put on my heart that I need to say it to you. The good Lord told me to tell you both to stop it, all right? Now, you do what you want with that, W, Zeus, but you need to stop it because you don't got to worry about, they go around, oh, you said this, you said that. Well, don't worry about what we are saying to you, all right? You need to be worrying about what God is saying to you. And right now, he is not pleased. And that goes for every single one of you so-called Christians out there, W, Zeus. And tell your furry friend, you know who she is. That one that likes to stalk me and wants to invite me and Heaven out to have coffee. I'm not going to have coffee with you, all right? Please relax. I don't need your help. I don't need your help staying up. You know what they say? I don't need your help getting bricked up. Not over here, all right? Seriously, W, Zeus. But I got some good news for the kingdom. I got some good news for the kingdom this morning, all right? And the best person that, and I haven't brought him on the show in a while. But we got some good news from our good friend Lawrence O'Donnell, ladies and gentlemen. And I think this made me sleep easier last night. And I hope it helps you all feel better about the wonderful work that you've done, especially if you've been resisting this administration, whether you've been boots on the ground or whether you've just been, contributing, because you all doing an outstanding job in the comments section, beating up on them, so to speak. And even in the places you occupy, outside of the app, we've obviously been doing such an outstanding job getting the truth out there that Donald Trump is listening. All right. So let's let Lawrence O'Donnell break it down for us. All right.
Days until the next, with 278 days until the next election. Protesters are winning tonight, and Donald Trump continued his retreat today with new polls, including a Fox poll, showing the country has completely turned against Donald Trump's invasion of Minneapolis. The biggest change in the polls is the number of Republicans who have dramatically increased in opposing Donald Trump's invasion of Minneapolis.
Let's go.
The polls show Donald Trump has gone too far.
Thank you. That's because of you. Keep up the great work.
In his cruelty all over the country, including in Maine, where the state's Republican senator publicly announced Donald Trump's retreat today because she needs Donald Trump to retreat for her to have any hope of winning re-election in the state of Maine this year.
That part.
Here is the sound of Donald Trump himself in retreat today.
This is my favorite part.
Hopefully we won't have a shutdown. And we're working on that right now. I think we're getting close. The Democrats, I don't believe, want to see it either. So we'll work in a very bipartisan way, I believe, not to have a shutdown.
Oh, Donald Trump, you seem to know how to all of a sudden make sense. You know how to make sense when it's time to make sense.
When has Donald Trump ever sounded like that at the threat of a shutdown?
Ooh.
Senate Democrats were ready to shut down the government over the funding of Donald Trump's invasion forces. Mm-hmm. And Donald Trump caved. Donald Trump caved to Chuck Schumer. Ooh. Chuck Schumer announced that the Senate Democrats would shut down the government over this. Mm-hmm. And Donald Trump said, "Oh, let's talk. How can we avoid this?" The Republican Senate leader caved right along with Donald Trump. They are in retreat, and so Democrats in the Senate will allow other funding bills to go forward, but not the funding for Donald Trump's invasion forces in Minneapolis who murdered Renee Good and Alex Preddy. And we are all witnesses now.
Yeah.
We have all seen the video. We're all witnesses
Yeah.
to that video
Yeah.
that showed what happened to those people at the hands of those federal agents.
Yeah.
And we can all see as witnesses
Yeah.
that it was murder.
It was.
When the United States government retreats, it never uses the word retreat. In Vietnam, the generals and the Republican president called it de-escalation. That's the word that Donald Trump used this week about Minneapolis. De-escalate. Donald Trump learned that word.
MAGA, do you understand what we're saying to you? The Democrats, we've been right the whole time. Yeah. But y'all just take so long to understand things. Is everything okay? Do you understand how? That's why I said just mute them. If they're in my comment section this morning and they don't want to get in the box, just mute them, because they're disturbing everyone else's learning experience. All right.
During the end of the Vietnam War, Donald Trump's so-called border czar used the language of the American Vietnam retreat today when he talked about what the generals in Vietnam used to call the drawdown.
We are not surrendering our mission at all. We're just doing smarter. We can draw down those resources. But based on the discussions I've had with the governor and the AG, we can start drawing down those resources. So the drawdown is going to happen. Based on
So he's listening to Tampon Tim, MAGA. You see how this works? Y'all keep falling for everything Donald Trump is selling, only to end up getting owned. The Democrats own MAGA, all right? And in due time, the same thing that's been making you laugh, I promise you, it's going to make you cry.
agreements. The agreements to have a loan is going to cause a significant drawdown. So you're going to see a drawdown. My main focus now is drawdown.
Tara.
Sounds like an American general in Vietnam. The American government never uses the word retreat, never uses the word surrender, except to deny that they're doing it when they are doing it.
Yeah.
That is how de-escalate entered our military language in Vietnam. That is how drawdown entered our military language in Vietnam when we were on our way to mounting a full retreat and a total surrender. In the first war the United States of America lost outright and never admitted losing. The anti-war protesters won.
Wow.
The protesters against the war in Vietnam won, and they forced America to leave Vietnam.
See, I appreciate Lawrence for walking us through history like this and helping to highlight why the Democrats have been right the whole time. See, MAGA, this is what happens when you're not educated on things. You end up getting out here in the real world and making yourselves look like the biggest fools on the planet. You might as well get those red shoes Ronald McDonald wears and walk around in the community with them, because you look just ridiculous. You look just as ridiculous.
That is the story of that de-escalation and that drawdown. And the protesters are winning tonight.
Thank you.
For Tom Homan,
Speak on it.
of all people,
Speak on it.
to be able to stand in front of reporters for 15 minutes today without a single question being asked about the undercover FBI video of him accepting $50,000 in cash from undercover FBI agents in 2024. 2 people had to die.
Yeah.
Tom Homan is the only person in the history of federal government employment to be offered a job in the federal government by the president after FBI undercover agents recorded him on video accepting $50,000 in cash in an undercover investigation of Tom Homan, who, of course, says he did nothing wrong.
Wow, this is crazy.
Those reporters today have never before in their lives been in the presence of a federal government employee who was caught on an FBI undercover video by FBI undercover agents accepting $50,000 in cash from those agents.
Wow.
And those reporters, understandably,
Right.
within the time they had,
Right.
did not ask him a single question.
They didn't ask him a question about his crimes, because the bigger issue are the crimes of the dear leader. This is only in America could you get this.
About the $50,000.
This is crazy.
Because the more important issue of murder of American citizens by the American government on the streets of Minneapolis was what brought Tom Homan to Minneapolis, where he was welcomed by the governor and the mayor as a relief from the deadly, dangerous, and incompetent people who have been in charge of Donald Trump's invasion forces in Minneapolis. Yes.
Wow.
Tom Homan is a more reasonable person to deal with than the unalterably evil, lying Stephen Miller, because anyone is better than Stephen Miller. Yes, Tom Homan is a better person to deal with than the incompetent, clownish, and lying Kristi Noem, who was silenced by Donald Trump in his phony TV cabinet meeting today. She was not allowed to speak. She was humiliated and silenced in that room.
Did you all see that press conference, the cabinet meeting that Donald Trump had? And he made, when he said, "Quiet, piggy." Remember when he said that? We all got to see what that looked like with Kristi Noem yesterday. Because she's torn her draws. She's torn her draws with the American people. With her, she's definitely heartless, because what she did to that dog. But then she allows that same attitude to translate into the work that those so-called soldiers of hers do. All right, I can't say it on TikTok because you know what they'll say. But they're just as heartless as her. And Donald Trump told her yesterday, "Quiet, piggy. Everyone gets to eat at the table. You got to watch us eat, but you better not even pick up that fork and try to eat anything. You're making me look worse than I already look." And again, let that be a lesson to every single one of you Trump voters out there. Your day will come where you will be just like Kristi.
Attorney General Pamela Bondi was also not allowed to speak in that room today after she had just returned from Minneapolis, where she was also not allowed to speak publicly.
Wow. So the woman that's running the DOJ, Pam Bondi, who's helping cover up the Epstein files, she's not even allowed to pick up a fork and eat? Wow. Y'all really love this man still? You see what he's doing, right?
When she was in Minneapolis, all of this is happening because Donald Trump knows he has to retreat. It's happening because the protesters are winning. Donald Trump knows every day he keeps his invasion forces in the state of Maine, makes it impossible for Republican Senator Susan Collins to get reelected there. And so Donald Trump is retreating from Maine. He's getting the troops out of there. Donald Trump knows that he is losing Republican voter support now on an issue where he always had their support, because he has turned his invasion forces into masked, cowardly agents of death. And so Donald Trump is doing, and Tom Homan is doing what the protesters in Minneapolis have been telling them to do.
Boom, boom, boom. What Obama has been telling you to do. What Joe Biden has been telling you to do. What the Democrats have been telling you to do. Do you get it yet, MAGA? You're not intelligent people. You're going to get this whole country into deep, deep trouble. You better be so thankful, MAGA, that you have Democrats that love their country and are helping to fix this mess. Because it's not over. By no stretch of the imagination, it's not over. And by the way, you got to because, Tom Homan worked for Obama. So in a way, yeah, it is Obama. Now that I think about it,
De-escalate. Draw down. Retreat. Get out of Minneapolis. The protesters are winning. Donald Trump is losing, and Tom Homan has been sent to Minneapolis to manage the retreat while never calling it a retreat. And Donald Trump is very easily and quickly reaching bipartisan agreements with Senate Democrats to avoid a government shutdown over the funding of Donald Trump's murderous invasion forces.
Who would have thought?
The protesters did all of that. The protesters have already achieved more than it seemed possible they could achieve just last week, and they have achieved it faster than it seemed possible.
Yeah.
And the protesters have even won the hearts and minds of some Republicans who are turning against Donald Trump in the polls on this issue.
Amen.
Donald Trump is losing, and the protesters are winning. The protesters have silenced Stephen Miller's poison and hatred. That's
Thank
not
you.
Stephen Miller's choice.
Nope.
You know he wants to be on social media calling the protesters terrorists.
Yep.
You know he wants to be on TV screaming and continuing to call all of the protesters domestic terrorists. He wants to call the people who were murdered domestic terrorists,
Right.
but Donald Trump will not let him do that. Donald Trump allowed none of his pretend tough talkers to go on social media or go on TV to continue to lie about the two people Donald Trump's invasion forces murdered in Minneapolis.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Donald Trump took away the social media privileges of the now disgraced commander of his invasion forces in Minneapolis, Gregory Bavino, who is now lost.
You know you're messed up when he cuts you off on social media. Because you know how that feels. I can tell you how it feels. When TikTok cut me off, they cut my water off when they got rid of my account. You know how it hurts when they say, nope, you can't go live anymore. You can't do that no more. Oh, that hurt. That probably hurts way more than anything else. I'll be honest with you. And you saw that happen to the people. And so, and you could just see it right now. These folks on the right, they have no messaging now. They better get on Tom Homan's type of time or Donald Trump will cut your water off too. Yeah, if you're a content creator on the right, you better start saying what Tom Homan is saying or you're going to find yourself in trouble with your daddy.
In America somewhere. He used to be on television every day making sure he wasn't wearing his mask in Minneapolis as he was throwing gas at protesters, peaceful protesters, so his face would be recognizable, so he could cash in on a nice right-wing media contract after he left federal employment. But now,
okay, so Greg Bavino was doing all of this because then at the end he was going to go on to social media and become basically the guru of MAGA greatness. And Donald Trump, boop, nope, you're not doing any of that, champ. You're about to get me impeached. You're about to make me lose the midterms, bro. Take away his social media access. I gotta say, wow, W to the protesters. W to the Democrats. Joe Biden, oh my God, you guys. All right. I just had to say that, but let's let Lawrence finish this up, and then we'll go straight to judgment.
Trump doesn't want the invasion force commander who said to Alex Preddy, quote, wanted to massacre law enforcement to be seen by anyone, anywhere.
Here you go.
When Donald Trump decided to pull Agent Bavino out of Minneapolis, he called him, quote, kind of out there guy, a kind of out there guy.
Uh-oh.
And that's the last thing Donald Trump said about Bavino.
Wow.
Imagine what it's like to be the viciously reflexive, hateful Stephen Miller or Greg Bavino ordered by Donald Trump not to touch their little social media toys to spew poison and lying hatred about the people murdered by federal agents in Minneapolis. Imagine how their fingers twitch as they look at their phones craving a chance to spew more poison and hatred on their social media accounts about those victims, those murdered victims. But Donald Trump is in retreat.
Thank you.
And they have been ordered to not say a word about those victims. Not another word.
Not another word. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this: W to the protesters, W to all of you. We are right, and we have them retreating. They understand that the only way they could even stand a chance to win is if they rig the election come the midterms, and we're not going to let them do that. So that's that. But I'm also going to go ahead and do one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame. Because once again, MAGA, we've caught you being the worst of the worst and the scum of the earth, all right? And I hope you are learning and following what we're saying. And this is why, going against my better judgment, I sometimes reluctantly bring you up here and allow you to say whatever is on your mind. But, maybe we don't need to do that so much anymore, because at the end of the day, it's nothing but a distraction, in my opinion, honestly, because you're not that bright, you're not that intelligent. And if you don't get what we're saying, because we do this every day. Don't I do this every day, Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time to around, what is it, 8:30 or 9, right? And there's shorter shows that I do. But how could you be listening to all of this knowledge that we've been giving you on this platform year after year after year and still manage to be just as... Actually, you're actually a lot worse. You're a lot worse than it was when we first started. And I can tell you how. It's because you're not really smart and you're possessed. And so when you're like that, we got tools to deal with that. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. for the liars. Lake of fire for the liars. You lied, and you must get fried. Join me in sending them straight to hell. Thank you, Evan.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
My special announcement, and now it's time to start taking questions from those of you who are brave enough to get in the box and, talk about things and speak the truth, all right? But one of the things I will say is this, all right, W. Tara? One of the things I will say is this. We got to start getting serious about winning as the Democrat Party, or just folks who want to care about the truth. And what we're going to end up having to do is, if you're not a serious person, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not the put the puzzle piece in place. All right, cool. I thought it was something else. Yeah, if you're not a serious person, honestly, don't send me a guest request. Don't do it. All right, because I don't got extra time to play around and try to explain things anymore. If you're not a serious person, then just sit down and listen to this special broadcast, all right? Because you really do need to learn something. A lot of us have already heard. Listen, every MAGA answer at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we've already heard it, right? We've already heard every time you ask them a question. We already know what you're going to say. What about Biden? So if you don't got anything new, just sit on down. But in the meantime, in between time, all right, if you do got something brand new you want to bring up here and share with the audience, by all means, send Big Zeus a guest request, and we'll try to get you in and out as quick as possible, all right? Is that fair enough, ladies and gentlemen? And especially with the Trump supporters, don't come up here and ask me a question. Do not do that. Just get up here and say what you truly believe, and then we'll do the rest. All right. So first things first. Do I have anybody that disagrees with anything that I've covered so far? I saw what some of my critics and my detractors are saying. They say, Zeus, you're very opinionated. You're not bringing any facts. Well, then what did I lie about? What have I already lied about? Please tell me what I've lied about so far. Anyone think that I've spread lies and misinformation? Go ahead. Tell me where I got it wrong. All right? Because this is what this is about. Accountability. Yeah, they don't have any. They don't, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. Look at this, brother Al. I haven't seen you all week. Welcome back.
What is up, sir?
How you doing?
Doing good.
Love you too. Yes. Well, where have you been, man? I didn't see you in a while.
Well, it's the selling house process is
yeah, you taking care of business. I can respect that. All right. Long as you're doing
business.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a workout, if you know.
Yeah. I can only imagine. All right. I've been through that a couple of times, and I get it. But as long as it came out in your favor, right? I'm assuming it was.
Yeah, it is going to come out in my favor. Yes.
Hey, man. All right. W's in the chat for Brother Val. Shout out to Zeus's mom. Thank you.
Say it again.
Someone wrote, shout out to Zeus's mom. Tippy Nine Toes said that, shout out to Zeus's mom.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Zeus's mom helps us keep it clean.
Thank you. And yes, you're right, Val.
When she's not around, we get bad. Zeus knows.
Yep. So true. So true. But you know what? It's an honor, for all of us to be able to do what we do and get the blessings from mom. So yeah, all of you, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to read something.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise therefor, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for its redresses of grievances.
Right.
And that's, do you want to break that down a little bit? Here, I can break it down for you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, Congress from both prohibiting one religion over another. That's what the first part of that means. And also restricting an individual's religious practices, no matter what that religion is.
Right.
So with both of those said together, you can't have a single religion in this country. There's not one greater than the other.
Correct.
Okay. That takes care of that part of it. It guarantees the freedom of expression by prohibiting Congress from restricting the press or the rights of the individuals to speak freely. Okay. I want to make sure everybody understands that.
Yeah.
To speak freely. So both things that, that Don Lemon got, you know what I'm saying, arrested for today or yesterday, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
whenever it was,
Yeah.
is covered under the First Amendment. His right to regress on a religion and say that something ain't right, and his right and the rights of that religion to exist, both happen at the same time. It doesn't put anybody in jail, but then you add the press part of it to it. He's the press. He's allowed to report on what's happening in these churches. If they're stupid enough to let him in, he can do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we're forgetting here. It also guarantees the right of the citizens to assemble peacefully and to petition their government. People need to understand what it means to petition the government. That's what Lawrence O'Donnell was talking about a minute ago. It was the people's right to peacefully protest and to petition their government, which is what they did, that has got Donald Trump running in reverse. This is the reason that it is the First Amendment of this country.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's interesting. You're right. That's interesting.
It's not the second. It's not the 10th. It is the very First Amendment that the forefathers thought was most important to put in our conversations and in our laws.
You hear that, trash bait?
That is what the First Amendment is. And it's 5 parts. Okay? And I just went over all those parts individually. That is, to me, it is one of the greatest reasons this country has become what it is today. If somebody puts something together we don't like, we have the right to talk about it. We have the right to go out and say, we do not like this.
But Val, let's get to the bottom. You know what they're crying about? They're interfering with ICE or Border Patrol getting the bad people. So doesn't that mean they have the right to do what they do?
No.
Oh.
No, absolutely not. Here's the thing, people. When you say interfering, that means actually stopping ICE from doing a legal function. Hear what I'm telling you right there, a legal function. What ICE is doing is not legal. It's not covered under our laws, okay, for what ICE is doing right now. It is very clear. If you go into private property, you can look this up. You have to have what is referred to as a judicial warrant. Private property requires a judicial warrant. They are not law enforcement. Law enforcement in this country is handled by each state and their laws and the federal laws within their state by the local and state police departments.
Yeah.
FBI only steps in, hear me, if requested or if a child is involved, a minor child is involved.
See?
Okay?
Yeah, see, it makes sense that way, because absent of that, what is the purpose of local law enforcement then? If the FBI,
that is the purpose of local law enforcement. They are law enforcement. These are people that are actually trained to deal with the public on a daily basis. They are trained how to de-escalate a situation, not to escalate a situation.
Bingo. You hear that, trash bait? And Tiny Tink Top Tim Tom, I see you both crying out in the audience. If you could just zip it up for a second and let Val finish. All right?
These are the things that when we come up here and talk about them that you all tend to forget. You tie that in with the First Amendment, you now see what's happening today in this country.
Yeah.
You know, I heard somebody say yesterday, I heard it was actually one of the late night shows. I can't remember which one it was.
Was it the Magala Live? Because that host is crazy, bro.
That host is crazy. That host is crazy. Angie's sister is a nutcase.
Yeah.
And, you know, that. Yeah, it's her twin's crazy.
Yeah.
But the one of the things that we talk about all the time and but it was like a late show, a TV late show, one that does political content.
Right.
And I can't remember exactly which one it was, but he said, of all the things I would have seen coming from MAGA, wasn't surprised they went after the First Amendment. Wasn't surprised they went after the Fourth Amendment and didn't care. Wasn't surprised they went after the 14th Amendment and didn't care.
Right.
Wasn't surprised that they screamed state rights the entire time the last 10 years.
Right.
States' rights, states' rights, states' rights, states' rights. But then when it gets broken, they don't really care. But what did surprise all of us is when it came down to the Second Amendment, y'all just folded like a wet paper towel.
Get him, Val. A wet paper towel. That's amazing, because you're spot on, and they did it simply because their dear leader told them to. Which is, it's like they don't have a spine, it seems, right?
Wow. No, they don't. They sat here for what? It's been more than 10 years, right? But this has been going on for 30, 40 years, right? Oh, the Democrats want to take all the weapons. The Democrats want to, get rid of the Second Amendment. The Democrats want to do, all these different things.
Yeah.
Although there has never been a time that the Democrats came and took anybody's weapon.
None.
Not a single time. Okay?
Yeah.
But when we now have a situation to where somebody's Second Amendment rights are actually gone after, and then he is unalived for practicing that Second Amendment right, y'all folded right the hell up.
Sad.
Now, it seemed like, I'd say something different, but it seems like years ago I called this because I said, when it comes down to these people that talk about 2A, the gravy seals and all that, you know what I'm saying, and talk about their Second Amendment rights.
Yeah,
when they actually come up and actually face real force, they are going to fold.
Mm-hmm.
And you did.
You did. W, Val. They called themselves alphas. Did you know that?
Well, the funny thing about an alpha male?
What's that?
They don't ever have to say it.
Ooh. Thank you, Val. I knew you had it. You had the sauce this morning. Seriously, bro. Seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Brother Val a huge round of applause. Well, listen, we're gonna move it along, all right?
Not a problem, buddy.
We might have to get you up here because I noticed there's some folks out there, but just they might have questions and follow-up questions because they're learning.
Absolutely. If they want to learn something today, we'll learn something today. If you want to come up here, I will tell you this though: if you want to come up here and just talk a bunch of BS and not listen, not learn, I'm not interested.
Thank you, and neither am I. Thank you. W's in the chat for Brother Val, ladies and gentlemen. No lies detected. I'm impressed, Dame. I'm impressed, Dame. You do understand, Dame. I think Dame is starting to realize this, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all just pray for Brother Dame out there. He's really he's conflicted in a way. He's conflicted in a way, but I do hope he walks closer and closer to that light every single day. Because you got to keep walking forward so you'll get out of darkness. All right, look at that. Look at they said F, Dame. See, so that's the wolves are waiting for you, Dame. I'm just saying, you got to keep walking towards the light. All right, because the devil's MO is to steal, kill, and destroy. If anyone hasn't told you that, I just told you. And MAGA, that's all y'all are. All three of those things, truly, truly evil work. All right, moving it along, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Look at this. He back for round two. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move it along to the next panelist. All right. Who do we got next, ladies and gentlemen? Irene. Good morning. How are you, Irene? Maybe this was an accident because sometimes people tap my screen. Let's see. Irene, are you there? I think you're gone, but if that wasn't an accident, go ahead and send me another guest request. All right, moving it on to the next panelist. Oscar, good morning.
Good morning, Zeus.
Hi, how can I help you?
Podcast forever, brother.
Huh?
Let me turn this TV off.
Yeah, because I can hear the TV in the background, Oscar.
Got it.
Got it. Thank you. How can I help you this morning?
Well, I'm all for you, brother.
Oh,
But
okay. Thank you.
but I've been watching your podcast ever since I can remember here,
Okay.
and I love what you do, brother.
Really?
And
You're not just saying that because you're live right now. You really mean that?
Yes, of course. I am a native Apache up here in the high plains of New Mexico, and these guys are already.
Thank you.
Yes, and these guys are already messing with us over here. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know the details, but if you don't mind,
Okay,
could you educate us?
See, over here in New Mexico, in the high plains, in a little town over here, nothing was happening at all until now. About 2-3 days ago, we saw ice over here in Texaco.
Wow.
And everybody is gathering the papers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Shame on this government.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
I myself, I told a story, and I've been telling it ever for a long time. Me and my wife went to mill shoot one day.
Right.
And we were at an also talking our own language, you know.
Oh, wow.
And there was this trooper in there that just went back and forth in the aisles. So we paid and we left. About a mile down, Zeus, he stopped us. And then after he found out that we talked English, he didn't even ask for a license. I swear.
Wow.
Oh, I don't want to swear, but you know.
Wow.
And he first I told him something in English, and then he put his head down like that towards my wife, and talked to her, and he talked to her in English, and she talked back to him in English, and that was it, Zeus.
Wow.
He didn't even ask for nothing. He didn't even check our license or nothing. Just wanted to know if we could speak English.
So that's their way of verifying whether or not you can legally, stay in the United States, as if you should have to even be questioned about that, considering your lineage, That's disrespectful, right? I would consider that to be very disrespectful, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I had never done this before, Zeus, but now you got to have a firearm in every damn room. It's scary because they might break into your door. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I have to protect my family, brother.
Wow.
I never had to do this in my life, honestly. And I'm a native over here in New Mexico,
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry you're having to go through this, but you have a family here with you. We want you to be safe in all that you do, but I do acknowledge the fear that you got to be under, because nobody should have to live in their own house like that. No one.
No.
You work so hard to get the house and place to stay. You work so hard to build your family, and be a decent human being. And then you just at one random moment find yourself being targeted by the United States federal government. It's a disgrace. Let me ask you this. They're saying they're doing all of this to make America safer. Do you feel safer with Donald Trump in the White House?
Oh, no, man. A lot of people around here, when this guy showed up, just stayed home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And locked their doors. So after I left that day, then people started coming out, man. God's my witness.
Wow.
And so it's not right. Something's wrong up there, man. We need to stop it.
Yeah.
Because because if they don't stop it, people are going to start to defend themselves, Zeus.
And that's what concerns me, honestly. Right? To me, this is unnecessary, and I do realize Holman is saying they're going to start doing more targeted enforcement activities, but the bottles or the jar has been broken, so to speak. You can't just put it back together anymore. A lot of people feel the exact same way that you feel, You don't know what these folks with these masks on. I never thought it was a good idea to let people with masks and weapons just unleash them into community. That's just a recipe for disaster, and that's what he did. So, I'm going to encourage you, honestly. Make sure you stay vigilant out there. You got your cameras. Make sure you got the cameras on, because you might have to sue them.
Oh yes.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid of suing them and taking legal action. All right, but we can never allow them to do what they want to do.
Unless look, Zeus, unless they break into my house masked up and no identification, I have to defend myself. My God,
That's sad to hear. That's so sad to hear, bro.
Especially if you're brown, brother.
Yeah.
And now they're messing around with the black people too. So.
Oh, you want to speak on that? Could you tell them how they messing around? Because I have a lot of, we call them blagga, black and then MAGA. You call.
Oh yeah, I've been listening to them.
What do you have to say to them? If you don't mind sharing some of your wisdom.
Look, black. They're doing this to us, brown people now, mostly.
Yeah.
And they're starting on our black brothers and sisters. So you guys need to stop doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Before they take you.
Bingo.
And they're disappearing a lot of people. My God,
Yeah.
I have some friends over here in this little town.
Yeah.
That I have stories about.
Yeah.
This good friend of mine, Mexican, had been here for about 10 years. He had a car, he had a house, he had everything.
Yeah.
So then they picked him up one day that he was in Amarillo, I think.
Yeah.
And they picked him up and left his wife and two kids over here with a nice house and everything, right?
Well, yeah.
But so
let that be a lesson.
They didn't know what to do.
Yeah, let that be a lesson. There's a guy on here that I interact with sometimes. His name is Lion Lou. Let that be a lesson, Lion Lou. Anything like this could happen to you. Sorry, Oscar. It just popped into my mind, and I figured I needed to say it.
Yes, these guys need to see the light, brother.
Yeah, fair enough.
They need to repent and that's got to help them and straighten out their mind.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, they're going to end up sad. They're going to end up so sad and angry,
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think after hearing what you said and what we've said, they know, and the burden is now on them to do the right thing. Because like I said, and you said too, eventually God's judgment is coming upon them. All right, Oscar? So what I'll do is say thank you for coming up here and honestly, brother, sharing your story and being vulnerable with us. All right. We need more of that to change the hearts and the minds of the American people. Seriously. All right. And stay safe out there. All right.
Yeah. Let me say one more thing. Okay.
Sure.
Look, my great grandmother told stories to my grandmother.
Okay.
And my grandmother died at 97. She said that there was an older black man and a younger one that lived with them in their camp for almost a year, running away from the north.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Wow. And so they had black people living with them, Zeus.
Yeah.
Or Apache, Mascalero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And further north.
Wow. That's impressive.
And so
you're true to this. You're really true to this. You come from
God bless you, Zeus.
Yeah.
God bless you. And you keep it up and I love you guys.
All right. We love you too, Oscar. Stay safe out there. All right. Keep that cell phone, the cameras going. All right. And we're going to be here. And please come on back. All right. I gave you a follow. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Brother Oscar a huge round of applause. No lies detected. That's the good news. Thank you. Stay safe. Thank you, Oscar. I love learning from people, and I love it when people come up here and they give me, just real accurate understanding or accounts of what's been going on where they've been at. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring up my next panelist. Good morning, Little Farm One. Welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. How have you been?
Hey, Zeus. How you guys been?
We're doing good now that you're here. Let's go.
It's gonna be a little bit uncomfortable, but we can take it, right? We're grown.
Yeah, we're adults. We are adults.
Yeah.
You were right. You were right to switch with Ben Andy. His turn.
Uh-oh.
Okay. No, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got.
You had to go because you know real life is definitely a situation.
No, yeah, it is. So
Yeah.
I want to remind everybody. There's a little brown boy that's starving in a concentration camp today.
Yeah.
While we sitting in our warm home, luxury cars, and eating our fine cuisines, there's a little brown boy that's starving. Jasmine Crockett went to see him 2 nights ago, and she was mortified in what she saw. And I could not go to bed yesterday comfortably without thinking about this little brown boy.
Liam Ramos.
That's right. Also, I want to remind everybody, this is going to be real uncomfortable. I need y'all to stop saying black people, you're next. We've always been. In the first 30 days of this administration, 400,000, I repeat, almost 400,000 black women lost their jobs. Put in the streets, America did not blink an eye. There's medical apartheid for black women. We're watching black women have babies in their trucks, in the lobbies. America said nothing but thoughts and prayers. Greg was for dinner.
Wow.
I need y'all to be just as loud for Don Lemon that you were for Jimmy Kimmel. This is why it's hard trusting you all.
Preach it. Speak
The
on
black
it.
the black unemployment is up almost to 10%. It might not be loud in the streets, but ours is quiet and it's vicious.
Yeah.
Stop saying you're next. We've always been.
Oh, W.
We've always been.
She's not lying.
No, yeah, black men are under attack under this administration. I do believe they are. They're oh yeah, they are. They are. And this very administration used a black coon on MLK Day to walk back Fair Housing Act that gave us fair, when you want to have an appraisal for your home. Now that's all rolled back on Martin Luther King Day. It's psychological. We've always been on a chopping block.
Yeah.
That's psychological warfare that he's having with black people. Stop saying we're next. We've always been. We've always been. And stop saying we're next. We've always been. As of last year, 2025, up to 7 black men funny fruited in the South. No word about it. America didn't blink an eye. That's the problem. And when we hear you loud and clear about Mrs. Good and Mr. Pretty, which I am so upset about as well, we don't hear you so loud about this little brown boy that's passing away before our very eyes in that concentration camp. We don't hear you very loud about Don Lemon. We don't hear you very loud about those medical apartheids with black women you're seeing having babies on the side of the road. You're not as loud.
Yeah.
I want y'all to stop saying 2 people passed away. No, it was more than 2 people. It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
And so I might not be, the best, the best today on your panel, but it had to be said.
Oh no, don't worry about it. I'm the most disliked person. Okay, but you can nice try. But you always have a voice. Don't worry. Okay, when you get up here and you speak the truth, I mean, listen, I'm open to all kinds of feedback and things like that. So please just say what needs to be said, right? Because those are the voices that often don't get heard. I can't speak for everybody, but I try to. But when you got what you got, which is what you had, you can keep up what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You got to say what you said.
We have to, Zeus. We are under tyranny.
Yep.
We're under tyranny full stop.
Yeah.
So if it's going to be a collective too, then we have to move collectively. We can't just be loud for one and silent for the other. It has to be loud all the way around.
Yeah. And then you say, that's why I say, those of us who want them, black people, we should be getting those reparations. Because until that matter is resolved amicably, then, to your point, we've always been under attack. So yeah, I know there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there. We don't want reparations. Well, you don't need them. You stick to doing what your master told you to do, all right? Clicking those heels together and wishing you was free. But let us get our reparations, right, Lil Farm?
This man actually said that the civil rights offended Caucasian people and that Caucasian men should get reparations. We always been there in their attack.
Yeah. Tell them.
It's just not politically correct to do it out loud, like
Yeah.
they're doing to brown people, to black people. That's now a thing of the past. But don't never think we off the chopping block. No.
Never.
No, never.
Tell them, little farm lady. She's not lying. Well, listen, I know I don't know, would you get it all out, or is there more? Because we're gonna move it on. But if you got more,
No, yes, it's all
you
good.
sure?
It's all
You
out.
sure? Because you got to be able to keep coming and bringing this information and this perspective out here, because we don't want folks to get left behind in this moment we're in as a country. Because right now the tension's definitely where it's at. Renee Good and Keith Porter and Alex Preddy, they're getting a lot of the attention. But make no mistake, to whom much is given, much is required, and they got to end up paying us what they owe, right?
Absolutely. And let's get that little baby. Let's get that baby out of there. Yeah. Let's be loud about this baby. This is a baby. And I don't know if you all got grandkids or kids. This is a baby that just turned 5. This little baby is passing away in this concentration camp. Let's be loud about that.
Thank you. And it means so much to me that you do this, or you put that out there, because, a lot of us, black folks, so to speak, we don't feel like this is our battle. I'll be honest. Have you heard that out there?
All the time.
They don't want to act like this is their battle, because, we all know what it is and what it ain't. But at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. When you see injustice happening to any human being on the planet, it is your duty, I believe, especially as citizens of this country, and if you enjoy the freedoms you got, it is your duty to call that out and do everything within your power legally to remedy that immediately, because eventually it could circle back and hit you that same way. And you would want people like us rallying the troops and saying, nope, not today.
So it's all of our battle. We won't be on the front lines this time, but we're in the battle. It's all of our battle.
Thank you, little farm. I knew it.
Thank you, Y'all have a good one. Thank you for the TikTok.
Love you. The people love you. All right, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. All right, little farm. You see this, ladies and gentlemen. What I like to do is run a good, clean show full of truth. And if there are people out there that are lying, then we address those liars in real time. Other than that, I don't want to end up dealing with you. All right? Because when it comes to MAGA, you just say to yourself, look at the harm they have caused this world. And I'm pretty sure, because, they say there's other life on other planets and other places in the solar system. I actually believe the MAGA demon has probably even reached to the edge of the solar system. It's that sick and violent and vile. You ought to be so thankful, MAGA, that us Democrats are up here day in and day out just doing God's work. Seriously. Oh, look at that. Look at that, my sister Takesha. Welcome, Takesha. Where you been?
Hey, Zeus.
Hey, wow.
I'm actually on a break, but...
Okay. Holla at your boy.
Hey, y'all. Yeah. When I saw what happened to Don Lemon, I just felt led to come and give a word for the people.
Okay.
Of comfort. And it's going to come from Psalms 37:1. And it says, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. And iniquity is immoral and grossly unfair behavior. For they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herbs. Don't y'all worry about Donald Trump. Don't y'all worry about his administration. Don't y'all worry about him using God's name in vain, saying that he know God is pleased with what he's doing.
Amen.
Because that's what the Pharisees did. Ooh. And you saw how they ended up. God is not pleased with Donald Trump. He's never been pleased with Donald Trump. You all are pleased with Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. But I tell you one thing.
Go ahead.
Every king in that Bible had a destructive end.
Ooh.
And it ain't stopping the Bible. He gonna have a destructive end.
Yeah,
and those that follow him and love him and clap what he's doing,
Right.
their end is going to be destructive as well. We cannot tell God when to move or how to move, but trust and believe he's moving.
Amen. Amen. That's that good word. Fret not. Right? Fret not. Right?
That means don't be scared.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't worry about Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump, listen, you don't be scared of nobody that was created like you were. He can't do no more to you than God allowed.
Amen.
But at the end of the day, there's none greater than God. So therefore, Donald Trump, he said, whatever you sow, that's what you're gonna reap. And all this evil they doing and trying to attach God to it, that ain't gonna work, Zeus.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Light cannot
hit him with it.
Darkness cannot overshadow light, and hate cannot overshadow love. It's sooner than y'all think.
Yeah.
Things are gonna turn around. I just truly believe. I bet, in your word, you got to get in your word. For those of you who are believers, you got to look at this thing in the spiritual. Come out the natural and look at it in the spiritual. Donald Trump's days are here.
Yep.
They are numbered. And his administration, there's a number 2. And God ain't going to want to hear what I was just doing, what my boss told me. No. You should have stood for yourself.
Amen.
It all makes sense in a minute, y'all. I promise you it will.
Yeah.
But I just felt led to come on here and give y'all that word, Zeus.
Amen.
I'm going back on my break.
All right. Hey, well, you stay safe. Keep staying prayed up out there, all right? And we love you, all right? Thank you for visiting.
I will. Love you too, Zeus.
All right. Love you, ladies and gentlemen. That's my sister, Keisha. No lies detected. Yeah, because if you don't stand for something, then the truth is you'll fall for anything. And what we're seeing right now, ladies and gentlemen, is a bunch of folks who professed they don't stand for anything, but they show doing a lot of falling. You ever seen dominoes falling? When they stack them and they put them into those little weird... Oh, you see a lot of folks falling right now. Yeah. Because too much pressure makes the pipes burst. And what you see happening right now, eventually, MAGA, it's going to happen to you. The biggest example of what's going to ultimately happen to people, and I haven't said it before, but you'll get the ultimate MAGA reward. Does anyone know what the ultimate MAGA reward is? I haven't said it in a while. Well, what's the ultimate MAGA reward? What is it? Does anyone know? Jail. And if you don't get your soul right, hell. That's jail or hell. Thank you. That's all you're going to get worshiping Donald Trump. Guaranteed. That's what those folks got when they went into the Capitol on January. Oh, Swerving, you added bankruptcy. Yeah. Bankruptcy. You get broke. You crash out. You go to jail. You get into jail. You ain't got no money. You need money in your books and stuff. And then you end up getting into something and going straight to hell. Your path is already, basically, they already got the path for you, all right? The path to destruction. This is what happens when you do it. Jail or hell. Yeah, seriously. Let me move it along, ladies and gentlemen. Who do we have next? Good morning. Uh-oh. Look. Oh, that beautiful Jim. Good morning. Happy Friday, Jim. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I woke up to seeing the news about Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. So just so you know, Georgia Fort was also picked up, who was in that church situation where they were making sure to let people know that the pastor was an ICE director. And so your First Amendment's under attack. With Alex Preddy, your First Amendment and your Second Amendment are under attack. Same with, Keith Porter. Same with Rebecca Good and her wife, Renee, who lost their lives because Rebecca Wood is also being threatened now by this administration. See, everybody's forgetting the living are also being attacked. The families of these people are being attacked. So Alex Preddy's parents have just hired an attorney to go after the civil rights that were violated for their son. And they're going to continue this fight along with his sister, who has publicly put out a statement. But then this morning, I wake up and I see Kristi Noem backpedaling on Fox News, CNN is reporting that Kristi Noem went on Sean Hannity's show and was like, "We made a mistake. We reported too soon. These things are chaotic. They're fluid. They're moving." So let me get this straight. You guys knew you were breaking the law because ICE is Immigration and Customs. You know, Border Patrol is supposed to be patrolling a border. Like, both of these things are in their name. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, meaning your only job is to focus on immigration and customs. Border Patrol, your only job is to focus on the border and the safety of a border. But somehow you were sent into Minneapolis to the tune of 3,000 federal agents, masked, no badges showing, not identifying, warrantless, attacking the people of Minnesota. And suddenly you didn't know you were breaking the law, but we literally witnessed Tom Homan come on national TV yesterday talking about targeted. That's always been the law. The law has never differed from that. The people that they go after, they are working and collaborating with local police and, get this, even foreign police when they're looking for actual cartel, when they're looking for actual people breaking the law. But like I said on your show the other day, Zeus, if we allow all the people who commit crimes on U.S. soil to just be deported, they come right back into the country one way or another. True. They never serve the justice for the persons that they've harmed. And the more I think about it, the angrier I get, because I've been posting on the whitehouse.gov page a lot. And I've been going strong, because this is the thing. If we're going to talk about we the people for the people, we have to be willing to stand up for all the people. And so if you're talking about Laken Riley, you better be talking about Audrey Cunningham. And I bet you most of you MAGA don't even know who Audrey Cunningham is. And if you're talking about Laken Riley again, because you can only seem to remember one name, you better be talking about Athena Strand. And if you're not sure who Athena Strand is, you should probably remember Lacey Peterson and her son Connor Peterson. And if you don't know who that is, maybe you should think about Stacy Peterson. And then maybe you should think about Catherine Peterson. And maybe you should think about all the victims of mass unalivers. And maybe you should think about the victims of serial unalivers. And maybe you should think about all the men or people that were in the boats in international waters that you seem to have forgotten that this administration just decided to boom with zero evidence of any crimes committed. Because I think we warned you a long time ago about what was happening in this country. I think we warned you about the crimes that Trump committed long before he stepped into the office of the White House, but you didn't want to hear that. You didn't want to hear about the 3,500 discrimination lawsuits that him and his father had. You didn't want to hear about the Central Park Five. You didn't want to hear about the 27 women that came forward. You didn't want to hear about his wife writing it in her book that he brutalized her, both SA and physically ripping her hair out of her head and assaulting her. You didn't want to hear about those things because then you had to admit that you voted for the criminality. You voted for the cruelty. You voted for the harm against more children. See, you can't come onto social media or any other type of place that speaks the truth to the lies and think that you're going to come out okay, because you're going to lose every single time, which is why you guys always have to resort to personal attacks, because you have no facts. You have no data. What you have is hate and fear. And what that administration's hate and fear did to you was awaken what was already in you. You're rotten to the core inside your own soul. But what you failed to remember is that there are more good people in this world than there are MAGA. There are more people willing to come to the line and say, I'm going to hold the line, just like they did on January 6th. Those 140 officers held the line. I want you to hear me when I say that. You thought the masses of goons and white supremacists and hate and fear mongers were going to come into the U.S. Capitol and win. They didn't win shit. What they did was 1,600 of them. Let me repeat that. And that's only the ones prosecuted. 1,600 to 140. And they still lost. And I want to remind you that they also lost the Civil War. The Confederate lost. Let me tell you again, they lost then. They're going to lose now. We're going to be here every single day to remind you at how disgusting every last one of you are, and you need to return to the soil from which you came. That's where you need to come. You need to come up in to the light so that we can extinguish what you are, which is petulance, which is hate, which is darkness, which is rot within your soul. Every single one of you, I want you to feel it, because you think you're winning now, and every time you think you're winning, more criminality is committed. We come harder for you. And I want you to remember this, because there is going to be a reckoning, and it's knocking on your soul. It's knocking on your door. And the fear that you have perpetrated on women and children and American citizens and migrants across this country and our allies abroad, it's coming for you. I hope you never sleep again. I hope you are haunted by the crimes you are committed. And I think that every single day, you're the ones that need to be on your knees praying for salvation, because you're the people that brought this on yourselves, and you are the degradation of this nation, and you need to reap what you sowed.
All right, W's in the chat. Jim, I gotta give it to you. It is so amazing to let you just do what you do. I mean, my hat goes off to you, because there was not one lie in what you said, and they felt it, they heard it, they received it, and even MAGA, they're going to think about what you just said, because what you gave them was basically a life. You gave them basically a year's supply of education in just that one little speech you just gave. So I got to say, W's in the chat for Jim. Let me ask you a question, Jim. What motivates you, honestly? What motivates you to speak like that? I'm curious, because, you know, they think that you're up here just spewing propaganda, you know, or that you're one of these, you know, Democrat shills or something like that. What is the motivation, if you don't mind?
So I'm 54, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not voting for me. My life is more than half over. Every day that I get up, I'm thinking about what comes after this. I'm voting for my children and their children. I'm voting for the children of MAGA who didn't get a chance because their parents voted against their rights. I'm voting for their children, because in this country, per the Constitution, it is supposed to take care of every single American citizen and anybody within the U.S. border. And that's the thing that grosses me out the most about this country, is that the people that are harming it are harming themselves. They're stripping away the rights of their children and their children's children. And they are so ignorant and don't know anything about our justice system. They know nothing about immigration law. They know nothing about the Constitution. And yet they will come up here every single day and prove how dumb they are. Their insults are ridiculous. They think that making personal attacks is going to win them an argument. When that's all you've got, you've already shown that you are nothing. And I hate to say that, because especially the women, right? Like, you're literally defending the people who are perpetrating violence against women and children. And then you come into these lives every single day talking about how you are pro-life, how you are trying to protect women and children. You're stripping away the rights, the equal rights that women are supposed to have in this nation as mothers, as wives, as sisters and daughters of this country. We have served our nation with integrity and honor. We do the job every single day. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Let me repeat that for those women that do not understand. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. We are dumbing down our children. We are literally not educating them. We are allowing the laws to be reversed to make them laborers instead of doctors. We are teaching them that they are no longer worthy of anybody's love and support as we shove them into concentration camps with worm bread and poisoned water. and they seem to think that they're doing something to protect the children. If you're pro-life, you're supposed to be pro-life for everybody, not some of the people. So what you are is racist and vile and hateful, and you're serving not God, you're not serving the people, you're serving the frickin' rot that you spew. That's what you're serving. And so every day that I get up, and I'm going through it myself personally, but I'm not going to lay down in this fight and give up on the American people. I'm not going to give up on the future. I'm here to say that it's every one of us united to fight the alt-right that's going to make the difference. The Constitution needs to serve every single one of us. Civil rights, human rights, women's rights, educational rights, and a belief in science and math. And if you can't comprehend those 6 things, you're part of the problem. Because if you throw out any one of them, an entire group of people is harmed. If you don't believe in medical science, and for you, conservative Democrat, I just saw you in here. Let's talk about how you're running to Dr. Keisha's lives, asking her for medical help because you're having issues, and you're going into lives following her, posting under comments, asking her for help for personal issues while you mock her as she talks about the dangers that's coming to befall us, that children are unaliving to a measles pandemic that we shouldn't even be facing right now in this country. How dare you come in here and mock me? You pathetic little worm. You belong exactly where you are. It's just in the soil, hiding from the rest of the light. This is the thing I'm talking about. They will literally mock and harm people to the nth degree. And then when it knocks on their fucking door, excuse me, Mama Zeus, but when it knocks on their door and hands them a platter of pain, then they're like, help me. Well, let me tell you, that beautiful black woman, that strong black doctor has no time for your bullshit, because she's literally running her lives to give medical science free for every single person. And if you fail to recognize that only when it comes knocking at your door, she doesn't have any obligation to serve that platter to you of the medicine and the comfort you seek. You pathetic worm.
Oh, wow. Jim. And you know what? I got to say, ladies and gentlemen, let's give the beautiful and amazing Jim a huge round of applause. And I'll take care of conservative, whatever he is, CD. He's definitely getting sent to hell. He doesn't even need to come up here. Are you okay if I send him to hell?
Yeah, send him straight to hell, as far as I'm concerned.
All right, I'll do that. All right.
But let me remind everybody, these are the same doctors. Mm-hmm. These are the same doctors that are giving us free information that they call DEI hires. These same women that had to work twice as hard to prove that they were worth their weight in gold. She's not just board certified, she's triple board certified. Wow. You have Dr. Sharon, a board certified obstetrician. All of these women serve their communities. And let me let you all know, for those of you who don't really know Dr. Keisha and Dr. Sharon, they also do what's called locums. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who don't comprehend that, they go into communities that have no doctors, so that they can do the work that needs to be done in those communities. And they do the medical work that all those hospital deserts now don't have an obstetrician or a pathologist to diagnose the cancer early. That's what Dr. Keisha does. So she goes to towns like Brownsville. And then there's people like Dr. Sharon who go to like the icy cold Wisconsin and Minnesota every couple months, traveling from their home in Texas so that they can go serve communities. That's who you mock. That's who you call DEI and you denigrate. That's who you think it's okay to not respect when they come in here with their medical science degree, and then you beg them for help with your own personal crap. Please miss me. You won't have any access and go out of country. Thank you, Princess. Yes, you know, the Doctors Without Borders, the missions to help people who literally don't have the access. You know, that That's another thing. We sit here and we listen to these people like the president of the United States tell you every single day how crappy the US is, how it was brought down to its knees under Biden, none of which is true. Just for all of you listening, if you had a brain in your head, you would stop for 1 second to know that the sickness happened under the Trump administration because he was handed a perfect economy. Today, you believe a man who literally has run the economy into the ground. The job numbers are in the ground. He's lying to you about the cost of food. He's lying to you about science and math. He can't do math and he can't speak English, but you're going to listen to him talk about the Department of Education. So an old rich white man who got handed everything in his life literally is going to tell you what you need to believe. And then while you watch as 2 American citizens in broad daylight get unalived by his masked marauders, his literally Proud Boys hiding as ICE agents, it's time for you to not only light the fire, Zeus, it's time to melt the fucking ice.
Oh! And with that, thank you, Jim, the beautiful Jim, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give her a huge, huge round of applause. We can't have that. Yeah, they're all booing. They love you. They needed that. Yeah, look at that. Look at all this love they give to you. Thank you. Well, I'll take good care of them, all right, Jim? But in the meantime...
And one final note.
Oh, you got more. Let's go.
Yeah, Kimmy, you are so sad because you will never, ever be me or any woman like me. You are literally the jockstrap for MAGA.
Lord have mercy. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to Jim. No lies detected. Oh, wow. Thank you, Jim. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, we're rounding that corner. All right, but now on a serious note, though, I got to do it. So, CD, you've managed to be a disrespectful human being once again. And what Jim said to us and told us that you did to Dr. Keisha, Dr. Sharon, it's totally unacceptable. It's definitely worthy of judgment in the kingdom. I don't need you to get up here and explain it. I take their word. They have no reason to lie to you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that I do this. Join me in warming up the lake of fire. CD, do us all a huge, huge favor. Why don't you go straight to
Silence, you MAGA demon!
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
And we know it's both. W. Zeus. Is MAGA capable of acting or behaving in a decent manner? Does MAGA have that capacity, or is it just totally gone? It's not even in them anymore. It never was, I guess, right? You just can't even behave yourself. Every day we get on this platform and we do God's work. Yeah. And it's thankless work. And yet y'all get in here and y'all mumble and grumble and complain and do what you do. It's really disturbing. It's really disturbing. But like I said, what I really do get joy in is knowing that we are eliminating all of your reasons. Because, when these people meet their creator, they're going to try to make an excuse and say, God, I never knew. I never knew, God. I never knew. And please let me in. But then I want there to be an actual documented record. And so that's what these lives are all about. That's why I record them and post them on my YouTube channel so that anyone could go back. Okay, and then you get to meet your maker. And God says, well, didn't you listen to my loyal and faithful servant Zeus and maybe Jim or Ann or Shay, and you're going to have to say, yeah, I heard what they said, because, God uses us to get to the truth. He'll use anyone he can make. He'll use anyone, even a donkey, to get the truth to you. And then he's going to say, why did you reject my word, conservative? Well, you're not even conservative at this point, right? You're just whoever you are, a shell of whatever. Why didn't you accept the truth? And then you're going to go, oh, because, it's the spirit of Adam. Remember in the Garden of Eden, what did Adam try to do? Oh, it was that woman that you gave me. Oh, really? And God's going to say, You know what? I've heard that excuse before. You're really not that bright. Bend the knee. This is what he's going to do to you, conservative. He's going to say this. You listen to Snuggles, though. You listen to DJ. Right? Yeah, I did. But you wouldn't listen to me. And then you're gonna say, he's gonna be shaking. He's probably gonna soil himself because Trump wears a diaper. He thinks wearing a diaper might get him in, and then God's gonna say, now bend the knee. He's gonna do it just like this, conservative. Bend the knee because we already got the evidence. You knew it, and do this. Go straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right, let's bring up. We got after hearing that, we got to bring up the doctor herself. All right, good morning, Dr. Keisha. How are you? Oh wow, look at that. Oh wow, you getting okay? You turning on the camera. All right, looking good. All right, fair enough.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, calm down because I want y'all to have respect. All right, but listen. Good morning, Doc. Sorry to bring you into this. All right.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Jim, for what you said, and
Yeah.
and everyone that's been speaking. To Keisha, everybody, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Listen, I actually was coming up here for something else, and this morning, if you listen and watch my post, I appreciate it. But this morning, I had a random post from a while back. I guess it's the algorithm. I was dancing on there talking about healthcare. And I get a response on there that has nothing to do with the post at all. And I'm not even saying the person's name, okay? I'm not even saying their name. But I want to ask you guys something. If you truly support somebody, going on their page saying, check your messages, without a hello, without a how are you, without a thank you,
Yeah.
is not gonna get a response. Now listen, I think that what someone said before is they forget that as doctors, especially Black women, I think you guys have forgotten us. Yes, we've always been the attack, the brunt. I've been through too much.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm not is a fool.
Thank you.
And I will help somebody in the middle of an emergency, but I am not on call for TikTok. I'm not the TikTok doc, by the way. Now, if few of you guys page me into room, I'll come, but I'm not the TikTok doc where I'm having a conversation and you come to the front of the classroom and bust through everybody else waiting in line and say, what about me?
Right.
I don't know what entitlementitis you guys have, but it's disrespectful. And it is also very sad, and this is why I believe in research, I believe in postulates, I believe in scientific laws. You know why?
Why?
Because we already know what's going to happen at the end. And so I already knew what was going to happen, and I already knew people that were on the other side that come in these lives that are dealing with real medical issues, that you should be off the app dealing with that. But at some time, the decreased funding and research for actually rare diseases, including autoimmune diseases, was going to get you. The long wait lines and the doctors that you are not protecting because HHS is not protecting us, but now you want our help, was going to affect you. The delayed in diagnosis and treatment, and the person over HHS that now believes all autoimmune diseases are due to your Diet Coke and your candy was going to affect you. So I preface this by saying, do not mistake this smile and this presidential sweater, this first lady sweater, for a sign of ignorance.
Yeah.
Do not.
Yeah.
You can come to my lives. You can actually go to the medical-collective.net first, because you know what? I have a resource page on there for patient advocates in your situation, for how to get patient assistance and financial assistance. I have all that stuff already.
Yeah.
If you need a actual consult or breakdown, you could check my page and you can schedule it something. But what you're not going to do is go on my dance pages and my posts, and instead of uplifting me, tell me what I'm supposed to do for you.
That's so mind blowing, Doc, and I'm so sorry that that's happening to you. But you know what I've learned about doctors like yourself is even despite all of that, your integrity in in your profession, you would still provide medical support aid in your profession. Not on TikTok, because we understand, but in the real life, You don't even let any of that determine what you are going to do. Everyone comes in your door like a patient. And, that just shows to me, the difficulty it takes because, you go through so much. You have to get what do you have to do? Like get your residency training. You got to get
I
your
finished college in 3
license.
years. I did
Yeah.
4 years of medical school. I did 5 years of residency to become double board certified, and then another year of fellowship. Yeah.
How many of you Trump supporters have done that?
And all of this nonsense, we have Trump supporters we work for, the same ones that try to not give me that position or not give me the medical directorship. I know all about it. But even with surgeons, even with some other doctors, what you're not going to do is tell me what you're going to do because you need me.
Yeah.
You need my diagnosis. You need my laboratory expertise. And I don't work on your clock. I especially don't work on a TikTok clock. And this has nothing to do with who you were, because I didn't even know who the individual was, and I wasn't going to say their name. Yeah. But you're not going to come into my chat while I'm trying to teach people. I come on here every other day, and I never seen you. And actually, they didn't follow me until they needed a question answered. So you're going to wait until I'm ready to give you a response.
Yeah.
But you can check all the other things in the meantime.
Yeah, yeah. And plus, when you start thinking about all the wonderful work you've been doing, these folks, they really don't understand who they're talking to. So, what we're going to do, let's give Dr. Keisha Davis, ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause. We gotta celebrate greatness because I'm impressed, honestly. I've been to college, but what are the hurdles most people don't know doctors have to go through in general, if you don't mind, to help them so that they can understand the just the amount of awesomeness that we get by having you to come on the show. We're literally talking to
many parties and the juve and the shaking I have missed. Let me tell you that much. I used to take my books wherever I went.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was self-sabotage and sabotage. I'm going to tell you, as a Black woman, I have seen things that were awarded to me taken away because of that. I was supposed to be in this honor society called AOA. They all of a sudden weren't going to allow the Black and brown doctors to be part of it. I have seen it. And by the way, AMA, which I was going to share with you guys, one of the biggest medical associations, and a lot of people tout them, they used to not allow Black people in there. They used to not allow Black doctors. They were based on racism, and to this day, evidently, there's dissension in the AMA because the president of the AMA went over to talk to RFK Jr. without telling the rest of AMA. And so now they're saying, we don't agree with that. And the president of the AMA said he agrees with the upside down food pyramid, which is preposterous.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's dissension in the AMA right now. They were quiet too long anyway. They're right leaning, which is very odd for a physician group to be. And so, kind of look at them with a side eye. Yeah. But
so you're used to pushing through barriers.
I'm used to pushing
as
through
a woman and a woman of
barriers. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't get tiring. It doesn't mean that we don't need a lift.
Yeah.
And I would tell you and thank y'all for the gifts that we do need a lift. And I continue.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
I continue to say that, just like with Don Lemon and the person who says we've always been. I will tell you, I was born and raised here. My dad, direct descendant of slavery. My mom on the other side. Yeah. And I will tell you that we are always the last. We are always the ones and this guy actually is an example of that. We're always the ones that you want to use for advice and for expertise, and then you want to take ownership or just take it and then step on our back and keep going.
Wow.
And so I will tell y'all to uplift us. We need to continue that. Thank you, Zeus, for this platform. Continue, because I'm telling you, Black History Month is around the corner, and all I'm talking about is Black excellence in past, present, and future.
Amen.
Y'all, past, present, and future.
Amen.
Yeah. Oh, one little thing.
Yeah. We got to get the truth out there. Thank you. Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff going on, and one of them is the Nipah virus. I'm doing a post on that.
The what?
The Nipah virus. Yes. I'm going to do a post on that. NIPAH. Dr. Sharon, hey.
Hi, Dr. Sharon. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so the Nipah virus is actually been around since the 1990s. This is another thing a couple of influencers on here have been saying, breaking news, outbreak. It's 2 people that got it, by the way. It's been around since 1990s. It come and goes, and I'm going to give you all of the deets on that. But the thing about it is, one, it has a high fatality rate. So the two healthcare workers, this is again what healthcare workers doing what they do, and they're caught in the crossfire. It's unaliving people, but it is not very contagious. It takes a lot to get it from somebody. But now Asian airports, if you're flying from Asian airports, they're going to start medical screening there. Wow. So all of you guys that said my body, my choice, not in that sense, but those who are like, ain't nobody tell me what to do or what to take, then don't fly over there. Don't fly over there. Don't fly back, because you are going to be caught in the crossfire. One last thing I wanted to say is about how the same racism, RFK Jr., is trying to do that study over in oh my gosh, I'm blanking. But he's trying to do Guinea-Bissau. He's trying to do a study in Guinea-Bissau and use the babies and withhold immunizations from them. And they have a lot of hepatitis there. Wow. I've been talking about that. I have a post on that. Y'all can check it. And the second thing that is concerning, I don't know if you guys know, but Doctors Without Borders is in a very predicament, and we talked about it on the show last week on Sunday, and I'm very upset. Doctors Without Borders is giving the names of Palestinian doctors, and these are people, you guys, that are giving their life, donating their time, volunteering, because Israel said, if you want to stay here and set up and help patients, you have to give us a name of all the Palestinian healthcare doctors, and you have to give the names of their family and children.
Why?
Yeah, let that sink in. So it's going to make me, I don't think I'm going to ever work for Doctors Without Borders now. Yeah. I'm going to be honest. And there's 23 other organizations that have already given in, by the way, y'all. So you doctors and healthcare workers, think about that. It's sad, but to be honest, there shouldn't even be a question about why they did that.
Tell them.
Yeah.
Tell them. Well, listen, Doc, I appreciate the heads up. All right. And, as always, I do appreciate your contributions to the platform, because with your skill set and your qualifications, you don't have to be here and subject yourself to this. And yes, keep making the great dance videos, all right? Because when you got it, you got it, all right? And don't let nobody tell
listen,
you anything
respond on the dance videos, right? Don't tell me, why didn't you answer my message? Like, you're not my boyfriend or my husband. Sorry, my husband, sorry.
I caught it, yeah.
And even my husband, and even my husband doesn't come on my messages like that.
Amen. Because they know better. And when you're sure of yourself, you don't need to act like that, right? So, yes.
But instead of cash apping me, go to themedicalcollective.com, and there is a donate. There you can donate to the cause of the Black and Brown Physician podcast over there. Do that.
Amen. Thank you. Well, listen, Doc.
Bye, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Dr. Keisha Davis a huge round of applause. Dr. Sharon, please.
I know, Sharon. Delete Sharon's comment. Can you delete Sharon? Yeah. You know what I was saying. I was being facetious.
Yeah, tell them when you're up here in this lights, camera, actions, you say all kinds of stuff. Come on, y'all, please don't be getting on the doc and trying to get her into anything. Listen, put it on Zeus, all right? That made her. I made you say it. I get it. Don't let these folks get to you. All right, you're blushing, by the way, because I see somebody in the audience claiming I see some people out here claiming they is. Listen, mute them.
No, mute them, because that is not true.
We ain't gonna let that fly in the kingdom. I can't have that. All right, listen, Doc. Thank you so much.
All right, take care, Zeus. Bye.
All right, you too. Bye. Yeah. So as you all can see, we've had another outstanding show. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, it's just been an outstanding show this morning, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? Big Zeus does have to get up out here. I'm so sorry I didn't get to speak to everybody, but it's a busy morning. It's a busy Friday. Make sure if you're out here and you're doing the protesting, you stay safe, get your cameras. Don't break any laws, because as you can see, Pam Bondi doesn't mind arresting you. She'd rather do that than to release the Epstein files, okay? So make sure you're out there being safe and make sure you're actually standing up, though, all right? So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give all of you a huge round of applause. Thank you for tuning in this morning. All right, see you next month, so to speak. All right, thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Without you, this show wouldn't be what it is. But I also got to give one last round of booze and shame, and you know who this goes out to. It goes out to all of the Zeus haters. And these are not just my haters. These are also your haters, all right? They get around and they cry, they mumble and grumble because their lives are just totally in shambles right now because their dear leader, I mean, their life really does look like their dear leader in a way. You know, you've seen his decrepit hand and those swollen ankles. It's the Epstein curse. He could barely hear. Yeah, that's because they're possessed with the MAGA demon, and rightfully so. We got to do what we got to do. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in giving the Zeus haters one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Oh, no, thank you all for tuning in. Seriously, it means a lot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Have a great rest of your morning.
Yeah, it's deja vu when I'm running up these racks. I'm like the turf.
What about body? Yeah, yeah. What about body? Oh, what about body? Stole the whole election. Read the books, did a night. Yeah. What about body? Borders wide open, let them fit it. Millions crossing, drugs pouring. Where we begin? What about body? Gas prices sky, inflation wild. Economy dying, can't feed your child. What about body? Afghanistan mess left them behind. 13 soldiers gone, Joe acting blind. What about Biden?
Hey, alter ego.
What about Biden? Yeah, yeah. What about Biden? Yeah. What about Biden? Yeah. Hop in the White House, call him Sleepy Joe, cognitive decline. Everybody knows stumbling words, can't finish a sentence. Pumping on strings, who pulling the leverage? On his laptop, bullets for deals. Try to cash flow, million concealed. Tell me get paid, influence pedal while we out here struggling, pockets unsettled. Weaponized blue, JFBI raised. Mar-a-Lago storm, 100 gets praised. January 6th, locking up brands, but Joe's pacified docs in his garage, man. Keystone cancel, energy weak, depending on flows, gas $4 a week. Crime in the cities, tough on the streets, defund the police. Chaos up here. What about Biden? Stole the whole election. With the votes till the night. Yeah, that ain't right. What about Biden? Borders wide open, let them flood it. Millions crossing, drugs pouring. Where we begin? What about Biden? Gas prices sky, inflation wild. Economy dying, can't feed your child.